What's up? You already know who the fuck it is. It's Reese Streets. You tuned in to Rap Shyt Magazine. Let's get it. Shit, I've been rapping shit damn near since I was 6, probably before then, but I started like making that rap. Like I wrote my first rap when I was 6 for sure. I used to be fucking with M. M was my nigga back then and shit. So I was rapping, I ain't never take that shit serious for real. I just write raps and leave it at that. Then shit, my name back then used to be Redog. Then shit, I think somebody else really started calling me Reese Streets because I used to always be like running around the streets and shit. So then somebody just like randomly like Reese Streets. And then I think by the time I hit like 13 or 14, I'm like, my name ain't about to be Redog no more. That bitch, when I changed my shit to Reese Streets. Before I just used to just be like straight rap. I ain't really had no melodic sound to my shit. Like from, like I say 6 all the way up until, I want to say like when I dropped my first EP, that's when I changed my shit. And it was really because I motherfucking wrote a song for my son. And I'm like, this shit gotta be different than how I write any other song. Like this shit gotta be from the heart. So I wrote that shit. I ain't never even dropped it, but I wrote that shit. And then I was able to put like the shit I've been through in there. And once I did that, I was like, damn, I probably could do this shit. Let me try a new style. Cause the other way it wasn't making me stick with it. Like I ain't write no shit. It was like, oh, I'm about to do this rap shit for real. It'd be like, I do it, get bored with it. But when I switched my sound, that shit was like a new adventure. So I just like, damn, this shit hard. And I kept going with that shit. But M more so is my style. I mean, I used to like to listen to him because the shit he said, like, I think it was creative. Putting some shit together, you gotta replay that shit. Like, oh, you heard the fuck this nigga just said? Like that, I think it was Marshall Mathers was that drop. Yeah, that was my shit. I used to like listen to that CD all the time. But yeah, as I was, I just came up with my sound and shit. Like, I feel like my shit's still growing. But I feel like right now, like my sound, that shit just came to me. Like I ain't really have to, it grew into me. I ain't really have to go find it. A bunch of mistakes I made with that one. Like I'm gonna re-drop that, but like I say, starting off, so I was just excited. Like once I really was like, I'm about to do this shit, and I seen how I was writing songs, I was just ready to put some shit together. But I was just really starting to take that shit serious. So it was like nobody really know who I was. Nobody went looking to listen for my shit, which I knew that's where respect the grind came from. Cause I'm like, shit, I'm gonna make motherfuckers respect my name, respect my grind and shit. So the first song I wrote on there was Mexico, actually. And that was just like, I wrote that shit. And I don't know. I don't even know where it came from. I wrote that shit. I mean, I know some of the shit. But long story short, I wrote Mexico. And then after I wrote Mexico, I'm like, damn, I can do this shit. Let me see if I can do it again. I wrote Colors. Then after I wrote Colors, I wrote Hard Times. After I wrote Hard Times, I wrote Level Up, and then I wrote War With Us. And then I was like, damn, I want to put all this shit out because I was excited about every one of them and nobody had heard them. So then I'm like, I'm gonna do an EP. And then that's where I was like, all right, I'm gonna put all these on there and put it out. It took me a minute to realize like, shit, at this time I need to build my name, and it's easier to pump one song rather than 5 and 6 songs, you get what I'm saying? Because a motherfucker might not like one of those songs, and then they don't listen to none of the other shit I got, compared to, I could pump this one, a motherfucker that like it, and then they'll go look for some more of my shit once I drop it. But That's basically what it was, just trying to like grind and make motherfuckers respect what I was doing. So that's why I came up with Respect the Grind. Then, like my little camp label or whatever you want to call it, Respect the Grind, that's where it came from. And RTG, abbreviated for Respect the Grind. Alright, so Quarantine Hendrix, that shit came about when we was on quarantine. Now I remember I was listening to beats and I heard the little guitar in there. And, you know, Jimi Hendrix played the guitar and shit. So I'm like, I wanted to name this bitch like Stuck in Quarantine or Fresh Off Quarantine, but I'm like, we ain't off quarantine and shit. So then it was just like the name came to me like Quarantine Hendrix once I like put the name with the guitar. And I named that bitch Quarantine Hendrix, so that morning I already knew what that bitch was gonna be like. I called my mans and shit. Like this nigga, like my right hand man and shit at the same time. This nigga like produced, but he doing the video shit too. So I called that nigga like, bro, what you doing today? Like shit, I wanna go to the studio. I'm like, I wanna record some shit, but I wanna shoot this bitch. I wanna shoot the video as I'm recording for real, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I just got a vision for this shit. So that nigga like, bet. So, like I say, I'm sitting there, I write the motherfucking song and shit. And it was just like, I don't know, the flow just popped in my head, like everything that's on there and shit. It was just like, I was able to put this shit together like cleverly, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I knew that shit was kind of gonna be hard. But the craziest thing is that song had to really grow on me. Like I don't really listen to a lot of my music after I drop that shit. It'll be like, I take a break, I drop it, take a break from it and come back and then be like, damn, I said that shit. But yeah, that's how that shit came out. It was just like Stuck in Quarantine and shit. And listening to the guitar and that motherfucking beat, and it was just like I put that shit together. Then people actually fucked with it. Like, I thought that shit was a dope song. Part 2, the part 2 was never really supposed to have been a part 2 to the song. Part 2 was more so supposed to have been my come up. So that's when I come back around for part 2. But I did write a part 2 to that song. I forgot about it. I just found it recently. But yeah, it was really, the part 2 was really supposed to have been a come up, but I think I might still end up dropping a part 2 to it now, because it's actually damn near finished. Like I think I really gotta put like a hook on there, and that motherfucker be out so they can. I mean, I guess you could expect Quarantine Hendrix 2 to drop soon. It's damn near a similar beat. It's a little different though, but it's a similar beat to the first one. I'm not saying it's gonna be able to top the first one, but I'm gonna try. That shit actually dope. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I like performing out of town because just hitting that road, it shit already make you feel like you made it and shit already. And then pulling up, and shout out to my manager, Santana. Santana's so dope. So I had to do a little show out there in Atlanta already for this little showcase or whatever. So I tell her about it. She actually had booked her flight to meet me out there, but she set up a performance. So I wouldn't even expect her to perform to the next day after we got there and shit. So she like, yeah, you gonna be performing at this time. You damn near coming off the road. So that shit made niggas really feel like, you know what I'm saying, a rap star for real. Like, got in, we hit Atlanta. We got to Atlanta at like 8, 9 o'clock at night. Went straight, booked the hotel, went in that bitch, changed clothes, walked right back out that bitch. I had to do a show. I was tired as fuck too. Had to do a show. Left there the next day, met up. We did the show I originally came down there for. Later on that night, she had got me set up to do another show in some other club. That shit was lit. Atlanta, I fuck with Atlanta. Everywhere I went, Ohio, I fuck with Ohio too. But Atlanta show love, like, they show love. Like, to this day, they still be showing love. Like, motherfuckers from Atlanta still be like hitting me up or tagging me in little shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody do something, like, these motherfuckers ain't never met me outside of the day that they met me. And that probably was the last time. Like, I ain't had a conversation with them, but they still show love. Like, shout out to Atlanta. Ohio, that shit was dope. Shout out to Vince, you know what I'm saying? I called that nigga, I said, I gotta hit the road, I got a show. That nigga just told me like when and where, you know what I'm saying? He like, shit, I'll take you. So we went out there, I did that show, both of the shows out there. The second show I did out there and shit, shout out to my manager again, she set it up, I opened up for Sada Baby and shit. That shit was cool. So I fuck with Ohio too. But like all that shit is be feeling good and shit, like going to another state. Motherfuckers like nobody here know you. And they fuck with your music, like for sure. If I step on the stage, you gon' fuck with me. But I know that about myself, but I still be like, damn, like niggas really fucking with me, you know what I'm saying, when I put some shit out there. Like by the time I hit the studio, I don't really like to do no spare the moment. It's like studio sessions, so I damn near like to have everything in order by the time I hit the studio. So like if I write some shit, especially if I write some shit before I actually go to the studio, I probably then practiced on every way I could deliver this song before I get there. And then once I find that way, I'm gonna keep running that bitch to that shit just second nature to me and shit. So by the time I hit the studio, I could go in there and do what the fuck I gotta do. Like I go in that bitch and record a song like this, you know what I'm saying? If I'm actually in the studio working, like shit, I don't know, I try to just focus in on whatever fuck, like I don't like to bullshit around the studio, or I try not to. You know, sometimes that shit be like that, but I don't really like to. Especially when you coming out of pocket, like that shit costs, all that shit costs, so I ain't trying to waste no money for the fuck of it, just to say I'm in the studio. Like, nah, I'm in here to do what the fuck I gotta do. I don't really got no techniques, for real. It'd be like, that shit just come to me and shit, I do it and shit. Only thing, I drink water. That's the only thing. That's my main technique. I make sure I got some motherfucking water and I'm in that bitch. Cause your motherfucking mouth get dry and shit, keep rapping the same shit over and over again and shit. But no, that's about it. Like I just try to come in that bitch. I already know what I'm coming in here to do. So I'm gonna come in that motherfucker, I'm gonna do it. But that's about it.
What about, obviously some songs you write, other songs you come off the dome and you freestyle and piece it together as you go. What do you prefer more, or which one do you feel like you've made some of the best songs doing, writing, or just the ones off the top of the head?
I don't know, I guess I'd say it's like I'd rather write my shit, but I can come there and freestyle the shit. I will do it, but then it'd be like I surprise myself with the freestyle shit. See, when you go into the studio and you freestyling, bro, it's just like if you got it's about really just having that confidence. Like I go in there, if I'm freestyling, I'm probably just at the point where I'm like, fuck it, I'm about to put some shit together. But I ain't gonna just throw no bullshit together. I'm gonna still make that bitch right. But I'll put some shit together and surprise the fuck out of myself. Like damn. But that's how I write. My writing process is the same thing. Like I'm a freestyle and then I'm gonna keep what I don't like and then say fuck this shit that I don't, you know what I mean? So I guess it's still the same thing with coming in the studio and just freestyling. So I'm just keeping what I like and then other shit I don't. But I don't know, because some of my songs, like I might have wrote the first half and freestyled the whole rest of it, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's like 50-50, you know what I'm saying? My best songs probably is like some of them writing, some of them freestyling. I got some shit on the way right now, like, and I probably freestyle 80% of the song. Like I write a hook, I write the hook down, and then I just write something that's like the first bar in the verse, and then the rest of that bitch I'm freestyling it. Or, you know what I'm saying, vice versa. I might write the verse and then freestyle the hook, freestyle the second verse, you know what I'm saying? So I fuck with both styles. Like I don't got a problem, I ain't against either one. Like I do either or. I think people fuck with my shit. I don't know. My shit just be real. Like, damn near every song I done drop, like, it's a story behind it. Like, if you ask me, I probably could break that song down. You know what I'm saying? Cause some of the times I make songs, like, some of them bitches be like pain songs, like, cause there's actual pain in that motherfucker. I ain't never been the type of nigga that express myself, but I always listen to music for those reasons. So I'm like, damn, if I could go listen to this nigga, why can't I make a song for myself to go listen to of myself? You know what I mean? So a lot of motherfuckers relate to the shit I be putting in there, like, especially here, like we all come from the same place, so whether they make that type of music or not, you know what I'm saying, they still can relate to those issues. So and my shit be different. Like I ain't scared to be different. Like I stand out, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna make my music this way because that's the way this nigga feel like I should make it. I don't know, niggas fuck with me, like, I don't know, just period about me, like, I got a lot of people like, I'm a genuine nigga, I'm real, like, the same way I'm in your face is the same way I'm behind your back, You know what I'm saying? I'ma stand on what I say, you know what I'm saying? So people respect that. People fuck with me and shit. I respect everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck if you a bitch ass nigga, I'ma still give you some respect till you give me a reason not to. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people already gravitate towards my way anyway based off of that. So I feel like I do the same shit with my music. Like, a lot of motherfuckers gravitate to my music because they don't know, they just fuck with me. Leaving like a legacy with the music, like shit. I ain't even gonna say I'm trying to be the top artist. I just wanna be a big artist though, for sure. Like, I want motherfuckers to hear my shit and be like, damn. Remember that song, like, I'm about to go listen to, you know what I'm saying? Just keep dropping shit, you know what I'm saying? I want motherfuckers to go crazy when they hear my shit. So it's like, I just be striving, like trying to get better and better with some shit. And it be like, the way I kind of write my shit, it's like, I don't want to say, but it be working. You know what I'm saying? It's like I do a certain thing with my song for that bitch to be stuck in your head and for you to go back and listen to it. And that shit work. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna get my secrets up. You know what I'm saying? But if a motherfucker fuck with me, you close enough to me, I'll tell you, because it's gonna work for you. My mama knew how to sing and shit. She used to sing all day through the house. But my mama knew how to write like a motherfucker too. Like, she could write poetry. I ain't remember that shit. I ain't gonna forget sitting there. Like, she used to have like notebooks on top of notebooks just full of, I guess you call it spoken word or whatever, on top of just singing all the time. I used to love that shit. Like, just hear my mama sing outside of her cussing me the fuck out. Then I got my auntie and shit. She know how to sing. I used to be around her a lot. And then she'd try to birth a singer. I don't give a fuck if you know how or not. Like, she gonna try. She gonna be like, we gonna find out who got the singing talent in the family. That shit just wasn't my cup of tea. Like, I was a rapper. Her son, my cousin Mike, that nigga just was like always cold with the rap shit since I was younger and shit. And then you know how you look at your big cousins when you younger, you like, damn, my cousin shit. So this nigga just freestyle, like this nigga down there was freestyle king and shit. And then he dropped a couple songs, but he ain't never take that shit all the way serious like he could have and he should have, cause that nigga, he would have been on. Bam, we get from him to Dewan Lito, you know what I'm saying? And that nigga, you know what I'm saying, looking up, like, that's my big cut. He was the one closer to our age and shit, so we like, damn, we really trying to be like cuz. And that nigga used to be rapping, dropping shit. Like, I remember that nigga first rap. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't tell me that nigga wasn't famous already. Like, that bitch was cold. We used to play this shit back. Like, I know that nigga used to be irritated. Like, as much as we used to be like, hey, put that shit on there. We played that shit. But that nigga and shit, he rapping. You got Mac Thug Poet and shit. That nigga used to be on Who Wants to Be a Star. I used to watch that shit on channel 38 every time it came on, cause he was on there with Sarah from Making the Band and shit. This before she was on there and shit. That bitch used to come on, I don't give a fuck what I'm doing, like, I'm watching that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, that's my cousin on TV. So it's like, all these niggas being around these niggas that like closer to my age doing music, like that shit probably helped bring out that rap side of me and shit. Then like I say, the older people in the family that did do music, shit, even my daddy, I don't even think he know, cause I wasn't really supposed to hear it, but that nigga dropped a song before and shit, and I heard that shit, I'm like, damn nigga, that was my daddy and shit. But yeah, that nigga dropped the song and shit, I wasn't supposed to hear it, but I heard that shit, and I was mad, cause I want to tell the nigga, like, bro, I heard that shit you dropped, dog, like, that bitch was cold, you know what I'm saying? I don't even remember the first part of it and shit. Like, it just be random, like, it'll be somebody in the family and shit that just pop up and know how to rap. It's sweet as hell, like, I don't give a fuck who it is, like, if somebody in my family decide to do music, that shit gonna be sweet, you know what I'm saying? But it's just the fact that everybody ain't never take it serious, you know what I'm saying? It's only a few that probably took it serious enough to like really be out here recording or try to put that little push behind themselves to, you know what I'm saying, get out here and perform and shit and really try to make it and shit. But that shit was dope growing up. Like, you know what I'm saying? If nigga ain't nobody in the world make music, I always had some music to listen to, some new shit from one of my motherfucking family members. And it be classics. Like right now, if them niggas came in this bitch right now and played one of them songs, like everybody gonna go crazy because that bitch was like a classic amongst us, amongst like friends of the family that was close, you know what I'm saying? And nah, shit, it's a lot of us that rap, you know what I'm saying? we got a motherfucking, I don't know how many, you know what I'm saying? We sit in the studio and shit, we be rapping and shit, and, you know, Vince, we cheer to serve it. Tito, DeWine Norm, me, you know what I'm saying? We be in this bitch and we just create masterpieces, you know what I'm saying? So it's like this shit don't stop. Like then our kids, like you could tell the ones that's gonna be into the music shit. So it's gonna just be like a whole nother generation of the same shit we doing. You know what I'm saying? Rather when we make it or not, like we'd just be able to help them better, you know what I'm saying, with their music careers. But if not, it's like they about to burst. So somewhere along the line, somebody about to hit the motherfucking jackpot, bro, and just be and put everybody on. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't have chosen another family, like, especially because music is my passion, like, so I was put in the right family, you know what I'm saying? Because I just been surrounded by this shit my whole life. Friends, that bitch deeper than the song, like, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers like that song and shit, cause what I'm saying in there, but that bitch deeper than just that song, you know what I'm saying? Some of it is just like, you know what I'm saying, to make the song, but a lot of that shit where the whole point of making that song was deeper than what it was. We can go get off into that. Brothers is a deep ass song, like, you know what I'm saying? It might have a catchy melody to it, but Brothers is like a true song. That shit, like, deeper than just that song, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that shit, like, a lot of the way I make music now, it probably be shit, like, I went through a lot of shit. I ain't gonna say I ain't had no good childhood, because I did shit, but shit, nigga, I grew up, nigga, I don't know, I stayed in a couple different neighborhoods, like, I stayed on the east or the west, like, all that shit good to me, you know what I'm saying? But probably where I spent like the most of my time, nigga, I stayed off Dexter, Linwood, Zone 8, like, nigga, you ain't gonna just come over there and just, you know what I'm saying, survive or make it. Like, nigga, you actually got, it ain't no coming over there and you just like, oh shit, well, I'm just stay out the way and just be, no, nigga, you gonna have to know somebody, you got to be somebody over there, like, nigga, you ain't got no choice. Especially, nigga, them Zone 8 niggas used to be tripping. When I first moved over there, them niggas was terrorizing shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was a kid though, I'm like 3rd grade and shit, but I'm just hearing the stories over and over again, like shit, even people close to me, like, nigga, they came over and called themselves about to try to walk through the zone. Nigga, it wasn't none of that shit, like, nigga, I remember, nigga, my friend of the family, her cousin came over walking with my sister and her god sister and shit. And they walking through the zone and shit. So my sister already trying to keep these niggas off his ass, you know what I'm saying? They fuck with my sister and them, so they ain't trying to fuck with them. But they don't know who this nigga is, and he ain't doing shit, you know what I'm saying? Doing nothing. Like, that nigga just walking with them, bro. They done kicked the dough in on this nigga and everything, like, for the fuck of it. I don't know if they ever beat his ass or not. They probably did. They might not, I don't know. Them niggas used to be over there tripping out. So like I said, the older I got over there and shit, I stayed off Dexter, but I used to always be on Linwood with my man's twin. Like, this nigga used to be like, you know what I'm saying? At this time, I probably started fucking with this nigga when I was in the 4th grade and shit. This nigga used to be like, you know what I'm saying, my big brother and shit. Now, my mama didn't used to like me being with this nigga because I used to be doing bad shit, or she thought I was. She ain't really had no idea what I was doing, but this nigga ain't really, like, he ain't never really, like, he let me do shit, but that nigga ain't never really like me doing certain shit. Like, this nigga was in the streets already and shit. But that nigga at first, that nigga was like, nah, bro. I remember we was there. He like, bro, you ain't gotta do that shit. He like, nigga, you want something, I'll buy that shit. So, nigga, at this time, I ain't really want shit but nothing from the store. You know what I'm saying? And that nigga going that bitch. He a young nigga and shit, but he got a pocket full of money. So it's like, nigga, we go in the store and shit. That nigga buy me whatever the fuck I want out that bitch. Eventually, I still did start fucking with shit. But, nigga, I used to be into a lot of shit. Like, my mama had no idea. She probably thought I was in the alley playing basketball or something behind the house. Nigga, I'm on Linwood doing some grown ass shit. And if I wasn't with that nigga, I probably really was doing some grown ass shit. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause like I say, that nigga only let me do certain shit because he used to look at me like a brother and shit. Eventually, I went to McMichael, which is like right in the middle of the zone. So all my niggas now is from the zone. They from Linwood and all this shit. By this time, most of them niggas cool, you know what I'm saying? And shit, that was it. Like, nigga, I was in the news as a kid. Like, I was terrorizing the little neighborhoods. Police bringing me home and shit. Like, my mama used to be pissed. Like, nigga, I was into a lot of shit as a kid. Like, nigga, I remember I forgot where I was going. I don't know, but I wasn't supposed to be going there. My mama doing hair and shit. Nigga, I'm walking. Nigga, I see the police everywhere and shit. So I'm just being nosy, a little nosy ass kid and shit. That's when I seen my first dead body, like fresh dead body. Nigga, I walk up to it, shit. It's this white dude and shit. I don't know, he might have been gay, he might not have been, but he had on like, I remember this shit to this day, cause that shit fucked me up for a minute. Had like a fishnet shirt on and shit, some little regular like light blue jeans and shit, and like some little black boots, but they had like a little heel on there and shit. And that nigga was laying in the middle of the street. Head was gone, like that nigga got hit by a car, then another car came and ran his shit over and shit, so that nigga brains was like all over the motherfucking ground and shit. But that shit was close to the curb. So I'm like standing there, I'm looking at this shit. I'm probably like 9 or 10 at this time. I remember, and I was just like stuck. Like, damn, this nigga really dead. And I remember thinking like, shit, I want to leave, but I couldn't leave and shit. I'm like, damn, where my mama at? You know what I'm saying? Then my big sister just came out of nowhere and grabbed me by my shirt. Like, what the fuck you doing up here? And she motherfucking was like, take your ass home and shit. And she like did like this when we go to the crib. Like, I was mad at her for grabbing me the fuck up like that, but at the same time, like, I was happy as hell because I couldn't move. But like, I remember, like, nigga, every night I used to watch that nigga, like, before I went to sleep, I'd just see that nigga brains just like all over the ground and shit. And after that, I don't know, I got turned out off that shit. Like, that shit ain't bothered me as much no more. Like, I done seen some shit, you know what I'm saying? I hung around older niggas. So a lot of them, the niggas that I hung around was into shit more than what I was into. So I was like, I was losing niggas at a young age, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a nigga I know and shit, I done hung around like, and they got killed on the side of like my elementary school and I was still going there, you know what I'm saying? That shit used to be raw, you know what I'm saying? We moved from over there. I moved to HP for a minute and shit. Them motherfuckers down there became like family to me. Like, a lot of them motherfuckers to this day I still fuck with. Like, I consider them niggas family. Like, my other right hand man is like this nigga Wood. That nigga my motherfucking brother for life. Like, I don't give a fuck how long we don't talk. Like, if I call that nigga or he call me, it's gonna be the same love. Like, we still just was with each other every day, you know what I'm saying? My other man, that nigga locked up. But, my nigga Reese, like, all them niggas, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we fuck with each other. Still, like, we don't talk every day, but we fuck with each other and shit. After that, nigga, I moved to the east side. I met niggas on the east side, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really got where I can't go here and go there. Like, I'm gonna move on east side regardless, nigga, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, that shit was raw. So all that shit helped me birth, like, my sound. Some of the stories I tell, I don't put them all in there, but sometimes I do.
Alright, so Reese, you had a chance to get into acting as well and show people a different side of you with the series Die For This. Talk about your experience kind of getting into acting. Like, is that something that you always wanted to do? You know what I'm saying? What was it like kind of getting into character, playing the character Gunner? And you know what I'm saying? How do you kind of connect with that character and enjoy the whole filming process?
I feel like I made Gunner like Reese Streets, like I get the script I read, you know what I'm saying? It'd be cool, like, it don't be nothing wrong with it, but it'd be like just certain shit would naturally come out my way and shit, and then I started learning, like, if I just, you know what I'm saying, instead of playing that character, just make him Reese Streets and shit, that shit worked out better for me. Some of the shit, you know what I'm saying, I'd be uncomfortable with trying to do it, you know what I'm saying, that shit be different for me, like, I ain't never really want to act. I fuck with it though, like, shit, I be watching some of that shit, like, damn, look at that nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? That shit dope. The one scene, you know what I'm saying, everybody's fucking with me and Tay or Devin Douglas, you know what I'm saying? That shit was dope, like, when we first came and shit, like, we had bloopers and shit, cause the shit was funny and shit, like, we standing there looking each other in the eye and shit for seconds just so you could get that dramatic, you know what I'm saying, feel. Nigga bust out laughing and shit. But we got that shit together, you know what I'm saying? Nigga just got serious. Like I say, I really just was like, let me try some shit. Like, I really don't like this nigga. Once I got to the point where I'm like, I'm about to run this shit out, I'm like, I really don't like this nigga. And once I did that, I'm like, all the laughing shit was out the door and shit. But that shit, like, yeah, the chemistry up there and shit, that shit had got like a little deep, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, that nigga had say what he say, and I'm already thinking, I don't like this nigga to piss me off enough to say what I say, you know what I'm saying? And piss him off enough to say what he say. So now it's kind of like we done forgot we working together and we really having a little face-to-face, you know what I'm saying? A slight beef, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like, yeah, that was a dope-ass scene. Like, I fucked with that scene on there and shit. Then I'm like, I know he had hit the hospital with COVID, you know what I'm saying? I had heard that part of it. And then I'm like, all right, then cuz tell me like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just talked to him yesterday, you know what I'm saying? He doing better and shit. And then it was like the next day or something, we just talking about the thing. I'm like, yeah, and then when Tay, you know what I'm saying, he get out the hospital or some shit. No, it wasn't even that. He tell me, like, he called me, like, remember how we was talking about Tay? That's what it was. He like, remember how we was talking about Tay last night? And I told you was doing better. He like, bro, I just got the call, like, that nigga, he died and shit. So that shit had fucked me up, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, we just was working together, you know what I'm saying, a few weeks ago and shit. And then, like, right after that nigga had passed away, so RIP to him, you know what I'm saying? But outside of that, we did get a dog-ass scene, you know what I'm saying? So I got a chance to work with him, you know what I'm saying, before he did pass away. You already know what the fuck it is. Like I say, you tuned in with Reese Streets. This Rap Shyt Magazine. Appreciate y'all for listening. You can find me on IG at REESE.streets. That's Reese Street, Reese.streets. YouTube, Reese Streets. Apple Music, Reese Streets. Every platform you can think of is gonna always be Reese Streets. I got some dog ass shit on the way. Like, I don't know if I'm dropping it. I'm about to re-drop my EP and shit and add some songs to it, but I got some dog ass singles about to come out and some dog ass feature or me featuring on some other people's shit. So y'all can be on the lookout for that. Like, these bitches about to be fire for sure.